overpowered characters are fun. They come in, flex their powers, and have cool fight scenes. But after that hype moment, what do you do with them? If the overpowered character is your main character, then they do not face any struggles, and the show soon becomes boring. Some shows do come up with unique solutions to this, but it's pretty hard. More often, the overpowered character is a side character. But then you're faced with a different problem. When your main character faces a threat, there is always a question: why can't the strong side character come in and save the day with ease? Basically, the authors are faced with the problem of keeping the strongest character away and not letting them help others. This is usually done in two ways: either killing the strongest character off or crippling them. But what happens when you let your strongest character keep on helping others over and over again? What happens when you make everyone rely solely on the strongest character and put increasingly heavier burden on them? Who saves the strongest person when they cannot lift that burden anymore? Meet Xie Lian, an unassuming scrap god who collects trash and often lets people walk all over him. He is also the strongest character in the entire book, and the one who has gone through hell. The story of Heaven Official's Blessing isn't linear. We start at the present and then go back to the past 2 times in the middle of the book. That might seem strange, but the structure actually lets Xie Lian's character shine. Before we go any further, huge spoilers for the entire story of Heaven Official's Blessing. In the first pages of tgcf, we are briefly told the backstory of Xie Lian, how he was a beloved prince who ascended to the heavens, and how he failed to help his country and fell. Pretty standard stuff, or so we think. In the present, Xie Lian has no regards for his own well-being. He is immortal after all. Got bit by a snake? No worries! He has been bitten by so many venomous creatures that he has built an immunity. Got stabbed? What is it? A day of the week ending in Y? He has been hurt so many times that he doesn't really feel pain anymore. This is presented as a joke, and the reader also laughs at Xie Lian at this point. When Xie Lian accidentally got recruited into the army, no one stood a chance against him in battle, but only in battle. When he wasn't fighting to protect something, anyone could walk all over him. When it comes to his own well-being, Xie Lian doesn't care at all. But when he wants to help others, then it's your unlucky day if you face him. Xie Lian's dream is to save the common people after all. Xie Lian's quirky behavior starts becoming less funny when you get to the first flashback. We see Xie Lian at the peak of his power and popularity. Then a drought starts in his kingdom, Shenle, and a civil war breaks out. It is prohibited for gods to directly interfere with mortals, but Xie Lian defies the heavens and helps. He tries making rain for Yong'an, but he is a martial god, not the rainmaster. Under normal circumstances, it would have been impossible for him to make rain. But remember, he is one of the strongest gods. In fact, it is stated that apart from Xie Lian, only Junwu, the #1 martial god, the one who rules heaven, could have made rain like that. And do you know what the people's reactions were? Why so little? Can't you make more rain? You're the god, save us. And Xie Lian continued to make rain. Even when Yong'an started the civil war against them, he still made rain, because he didn't want to see innocent civilians die. Any other god would have collapsed from the strain, but he continued, and the people were still angry at him for doing so little. Tired from making rain, he still fought on the front line, and he still tried to help people infected by the human face disease, by sharing the remainder of his power to alleviate their pain. And the people were angry, demanding him to hurry up and save them. He's the strongest god, so why can't he? That's when Xie Lian gets stabbed for the very first time in his life, and he says how much it hurts, how he has never before been hurt this much. Suddenly, Xie Lian's jokes about how he has gotten hurt so much that he doesn't feel pain become not funny anymore. You're left wondering what happens to him for this drastic change to occur. Then, a building falls over and Xie Lian single-handedly stops it mid-fall. He holds it in place so it wouldn't do any more damage, but he can't do anything else, so he is left holding it. And the people, instead of trying to reinforce the building or help Xie Lian in some way, gather around Xie Lian and pray for him to save them. Xie Lian is barely conscious at this point. It's stated over and over again that he has done way more than any other god could ever dream to achieve, and for the people it is not enough. The ones infected with the human disease come to him and demand him to save them. He does his best to alleviate their pain, but it is not enough for them. They demand, "Save me, save me, save me." And at that moment, a tiny voice cries at the bottom of Xie Lian's heart, "Save me." But no one does. No one could save him, since he was the strongest, and he was the one who had to save others. Xie Lian physically and emotionally couldn't take it anymore. The building fell, Yong'an overtook Shenle, and everyone blamed Xie Lian for this, the god of misfortune. It didn't matter that the other gods didn't even try to help. Xie Lian was there. He was the strongest. He should have saved them. After this, Xie Lian is stripped of his powers and banished from heaven. Although he is human again, Junmu makes him immortal. He and his family and friends go into hiding. That's where the first flashback ends. And now we have a whole new perspective on Xie Lian. The "I don't feel pain" jokes don't really land anymore. And then we come to the next flashback. Even though Xie Lian doesn't have his spiritual powers anymore, he is still freakishly strong. He beats 33 gods who had weapons with only a stick. But he is still human and is no match against White No-Face. All the bad things happen, and Xie Lian eventually finds himself in one of his old temples, bound on the altar. There are around 100 people in the temple, and White No-Face unleashes the human face disease upon them. The only way to cure the human face disease is to kill someone, and since Xie Lian is immortal, inflicting a mortal wound to him counts as killing. Only one person refuses to hurt Xie Lian. The others silence Xie Lian and get to work. He is the god who failed to save them after all. It is his duty to save them now. Xie Lian might be immortal, but he still feels pain just like anyone else, and his wounds don't heal quickly. This is his thoughts in that scene. He says that nothing else could ever compare to the pain he's feeling now. And in this moment, all of Xie Lian's "I don't feel pain" and "I don't care, I'm immortal" jokes not only become not funny, they become downright horrifying. After that, Xie Lian's friend leaves and his parents die. The man who only saved others is left alone, hated by everyone. And that is Xie Lian's breaking point. He goes to unleash the human face disease upon the very people he worked so hard to save. It's only natural for him to feel hate and wish to destroy everything. But deep down, he doesn't really want it. It takes a little push from Wu Ming for Xie Lian to give one more chance to humans. Xie Lian stabs himself, the very same action with the very same sword that caused him so much pain not so long ago. Impaled, he lays down in a busy road where a bunch of people walk every day, in a town that is only alive because he made rain for them. And he says those two words he had heard so many times before. "Save me." Xie Lian did everything to save those people, and only asked for them to pull the sword from him. And the people don't. They call him the god of misfortune and claim that they are protecting themselves by not saving Xie Lian. For 3 days, everyone just walks around him, angry that he is laying in their way. Finally, when all hope is lost, when White No-Face has already pulled out the sword in mockery, a random, insignificant farmer gives Xie Lian a bamboo hat in the rain. The farmer isn't portrayed like a perfect hero. He trips over Xie Lian, cusses him out, and even threatens him. But unlike everyone else, he shows a tiny bit of kindness. Finally, someone saves Xie Lian. I can already hear some of you yelling at the screen or typing angrily. How could I forget one important character? How dare I omit him? That was intentional, because this is how Xie Lian viewed those events. Now, let's talk about Huacheng. Huacheng always wanted to save Xie Lian. But how can you save the strongest? How can you help someone stronger than you? More often than not, when you try to help them, you only get in the way and become the one who needs saving. And Hua Cheng understood his weakness very well. Until he became a ghost king, he was far, far weaker than Xie Lian. There was no way he could save Xie Lian in the traditional way. That doesn't mean he didn't try. Oh no, he definitely did. But it's the little things that made the biggest difference. Remember when I said that it only took a little push from Wu Ming for Xie Lian to give humans one more chance? Well, that wasn't completely true. I omitted all of the little acts that led to this choice. Little Hong Konger couldn't physically save Xie Lian, but that didn't stop him from helping him in other ways. He made small gestures, most of which Xie Lian didn't even notice. He brought a blanket when Xie Lian fell asleep on the ground from exhaustion. He volunteered to help victims of the human face disease. And, most importantly, every day he brought a small white flower to Xie Lian. He also brought a small white flower as Wu Ming, and that is what allowed Xie Lian to change his mind, to see that there might be people willing to save him, and not just the man to be saved. If Hua Cheng hadn't done those small, seemingly insignificant acts, then Xie Lian would have destroyed Yang'an and completely lost himself. Hua Cheng knew that he couldn't properly protect Xie Lian the way that he was, so he became stronger, so strong that even the heavens feared him. On a side note, I find it funny that when people talk about Hua Cheng's strength, they always bring up that he defeated 33 gods. Well, Xie Lian fought those very same 33 gods all at once, with cursed shackles and only a stick. Just wanted to point that out. Now, with all of that strength, Hua Cheng is finally able to properly save Xie Lian. Or so it seems on the surface. Hua Cheng doesn't fight Xie Lian's battles for him. He is strong enough for it now. But instead, he supports Xie Lian in any way Xie Lian wants and needs. And these acts of kindness are the ones who truly save Xie Lian. Even at the very end, Hua Cheng isn't the one who defeats White No-Face. Simply put, he still wasn't strong enough. He could keep up with White No-Face, but not defeat him. Instead, he broke Xie Lian's cursed shackles, and Xie Lian defeated White No-Face himself. Hua Cheng helped Xie Lian reach his full potential and saved him by always being there for him. It is easy to rely on the strongest and believe that it is their duty to save you. After all, in most cases, you physically cannot save the strongest in the traditional way. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. Even the smallest acts of kindness can save a person in need. Thanks for watching. I would really appreciate it if you liked and subscribed, and also comment. I love reading your comments. See you next time. Bye!